Rutgers researchers say they're on the verge of a potential COVID-19 treatment breakthrough that could work on future drug-resistant strains of the virus and supplement or replace Paxlovid. That's the medication currently used to prevent death and hospitalizations in high-risk patients. It comes as a study by the National Center for Health Statistics and the Census Bureau suggests up to 14% of all adults in New Jersey meet the criteria for long COVID after initial infection. It's a nebulous list of symptoms that can linger for months or longer. COVID also remains the nation's third leading cause of death, and researchers say there's a massive need for more treatment options. For the latest, I'm joined by one of the lead researchers, Associate Professor Jun Wang. Professor Jun Wang, thanks so much for coming on the show. So talk to me about how this medication targets the COVID-19 virus in a way that other antivirals aren't.
So currently, the most prescribed oral COVID drug is called Paxlovid, which is developed by Pfizer. However, there are two main problems associated with Paxlovid. One is a drug-drug interaction problem. So for patients with underlying diseases and also taking other medications, Paxlovid cannot be used. So this is one major problem. Another potential problem is drug-resistant issues. And researchers have found that viruses can evolve to become resistant to Paxlovid.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about, because at the moment we don't have a drug-resistant strain of this virus, but researchers like yourself are worried about that happening in the future, yes, as we do with most viruses?
Yes, you are 100% correct. So far, the good news is that resistance has not been widespread yet. However, like I mentioned, as scientists, we always want to plan ahead of time. And as we learn from the lessons for the use of HIV and HCV antiviral drugs, resistance is not a question of if, but a question of when. So we had better address the resistance issue before they become widespread.
Yeah, so that we're not caught flat-footed like we were when this virus first broke out. So I'm curious, though, because you mentioned Paxlovid. It's not prescribed that often. And so would this medication that you're working on, it's obviously not to market level yet, be more prescribable because it has less side effects?
So this is with the practical use of antivirus, and they should only be prescribed to people who most need them. And generally speaking, for people with a competent immune system, antivirus probably not needed. But like I mentioned before, right, for seniors and people with underlying diseases and people in high risk of COVID-associated complications, those people, yes, they do need to take antivirus.
How soon, Professor, might we see this come to market, and what will it mean as we continue to battle against COVID?
Thanks. So this is still in the early stage of development. You need to go through extensive animal model studies and also pharmacokinetic studies. Then hopefully we'll move to human clinical trials. But we're doing as fast as we can. The good news is that from our preliminary study in cell culture and also animal model studies, the papain-like protease inhibitor, which are the ones we're developing as the next generation of COVID oral drugs, they have shown consistent and promising antiviral activity against the Delta and Omicron SARS-CoV-2 variants. And more importantly, they're also active against the resistant viruses against the Paxlovid, which means they can be used for the treatment of infections caused by Paxlovid resistant virus.
Wow, so potentially really breakthrough research here. Dr. Jun Wang is an associate professor of medicinal chemistry at Rutgers University. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.